Alrighty, and we are live. What is up, everybody? Welcome after a little bit of a break because of the Jewish holiday. I'm just gonna get last few things set up, and we'll be ready to go. Hope everyone's day is going well. Weekend, everything. Happy to be back with some episodes. More consistently. Uh, but also gonna have interesting uh thing within a few weeks. I'll get into that. Hey. Let's begin. What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 123 of the Benny in the Booth podcast. Sorry, it is good to be back. Two recording episodes weekly. It was nice to have it was good to have a little bit of a break with the holiday. It would just be a lot easier. Now I am back, consistent, back to recording weekly episodes, which will usually be on Sundays. This week, I guess I could say Mother's Day was an excuse, not really. Just worked out better to do it today instead of yesterday. Plus, I'm more home now because I'm at the end of the semester in college. Um, Now, next week, hopefully will be a regular. The following week, I have no idea when I'm going to record. I hopefully will still do an episode. However, I am doing my first new ballpark trip this year for actual games going to. As Sunday, May 26th, I'm going to be at Sunday Night Baseball. More likely, will be at Sunday Night Baseball, Cubs and Cardinals, to finally be going to Busch Stadium for the first time for me, which will also be the last ballpark in the NL Central I have not been to. I might also be doing Kansas City. That depends on a lot of other factors that I'm not going to dive into. But yeah. So next week will be fine. The following week, I have no idea what it's going to, but hopefully we'll still put up an episode or something. Also, if you haven't checked it out, I, for the first time, decided to actually use one of the MLB filters on TikTok, and I posted both to TikTok and YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can check it out on the channel. It's under videos, not YouTube shorts, because I was not going to try to split it up into multiple parts. I could have, but I just didn't want to. Or you can just go to my TikTok and it'll be on there. Either way, uh, the filters are very interesting. It was cool to give a try. I hope to do more now that I actually have my own TikTok. But we'll see what happens. Um, but either way, let's dive into things. So before this week, there's not a lot I would talk about from previous weeks, but I'm gonna talk about the two games I've been to since the last time I sat down to record an episode of the podcast. So the first of the two games I went to was the A's Yankees series finale. Now, going into this game, I had not seen a home run in person, and this game did get off to the prettiest start. Nestor had shut down 1-3. Yankees get bases loaded with nobody out, strikeout, and then double play to get out of it. And then bottom of the second, Glaber was at first with Jose Trevino at the plate. Guy not known for power, though kind of fitting. I say that when he had a 2-homer game last night. And when I mean last night, I actually mean last night, not that. Whatever. But either way, for some reason, Glaber Torres decided to try to steal and got picked off instead. But Jose Trevino ended up hitting the first home run I saw in person for this year. And so far, one of three I've only seen so far this year. Right off the right field foul pole, right after Glaber got picked off, giving the Yankees a short-lived 1-0 lead. But Nick Allen and I believe Tyler Nevin tied the game and gave the A's a lead they would not relinquish, even though the Yankees got another bases loaded situation with one out, but grounded into another double play. And even getting Judge up to the plate with tying run, with representing the tying run just to fly out to end the game. Crazy game, fun game, but in the end, the Yankees lost. That was the Passover game I went to on the 25th. But also, I even kind of knew once Mason Miller came in, and didn't even start recording audio yet. Funny enough, I'll just download it from YouTube at some point down the line. Yeah, it was Tyler Nevin. That's who had the Oakland home run. But once Mason Miller came in, who's been red hot for Oakland, Fireball, former starter, might be injured actually at the moment, but he's been great for them. But once he came in, it was kind of like, okay, this game's probably over, and Yankees couldn't do anything, and A's won to manage a season split. And then the other game I went to, the Cubs Mets game. Now, if you're wondering, well, which actually keeps up my practically yearly tradition of going to Cubs Mets games here in New York. And if you're wondering, well, was it the controversy game? And indeed, the Cubs Mets game I went to was the controversy game, which also was my first time seeing Shohei Minaga in person, which I'm officially sold. That dude's crazy nasty, and I'm happy he's on the Cubs. And what a steal they pulled off by getting him. And I'm excited to see what he does keep going forward, which he's actually starting tonight. So be another big test for him. But he was lights out. The Cubs' one run was Matt Mervis scoring on a sac fly by Pete Crow Armstrong. And then, of course, the controversy happened. And I'm going to dive into it, and outside parts of it that also kind of factor into. So for those that might not be aware, whether you don't watch baseball games or not, so the final score ended up being 1-0 Cubs won. In that a lot has to do with controversy, but also not so. I'll explain what I mean. So, ninth inning, Cubs were up 1-0. They bring in their closer, Hector Neris, who, for some reason, oddly enough, the Cubs radio guy, one of the Cubs radio broadcasters, nicknamed him Hector. Hector. Heart attack Neris, which he's had some moments like that, but still a little bit crazy. So gets the first guy out, either ground out or strikeout. Then hits Pete Alonso. Whether it was intentional or not, honestly, I think it's a smart move because Pete Alonso generally kills the Cubs with home runs and stuff, which oddly enough, he didn't even hit a home run in that series. But in general, when it's Cubs and Mets, Pete Alonso is going to at least homer once. Surprising that he didn't. Antoine Winfield just signed a 4-year, $84.1 million contract with $45 million guaranteed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to stay there, which will guarantee to make him the highest paid defensive back in the NFL. Big alert that just came in on my phone. And then JD Martinez rips one in the right center field gap. Pete Crow Armstrong tried to go back to get it, and it was off his glove. Now, lucky catch. Alonso stayed at third. Martinez was held to second. So, because the lucky catch was Alonso didn't try scoring, which would have tied the game. So second and third with one out, and this sets up the controversy play. Jeff McNeil to plate, fly ball to left. Haps there and make the catch. Alonso tries to tag. Haps' original throw gets cut off by Nick Madrigal, whose cutoff throw gets to the plate, puts the tag on Alonso, called out originally, and which I was like, hallelujah. However, the Mets reviewed it. And on review, it pretty looked clear. Now, I don't have the best picture of it on the thumbnail, but I have some sort of picture of it on the thumbnail. You can make a good case he was blocking, and I'm still like not sure whether it was blocking or not, or how to really like give a firm description to it. And the funniest part was it was so loud with the whole replay review thing. I couldn't even hear what the umpire was saying with the after review, and me and I was with other people. We literally like on our way home, we're listening to it just to find out what the official wording was. But once he signaled out, I knew the Cubs won, and it was just like, holy cow. And that was just nuts. But here's the thing. Even with how controversial that play was, I don't know if that's really the reason why the Mets lost. And I'll tell you, because they in the previous inning had first and second with 1 out, and the Cubs bring in a guy, Yency Almonte, who now has a much better ERA, I'm pretty sure, into the game, who at the time had a 4.92 ERA. 4.92 ERA. So you think, okay, Mets are about to score a run, tie the game, if not take the lead, and then Diaz comes in, which fittingly, Diaz was actually warming up when they got first and second with 1 out. Hold on, let me just confirm Almonte's ERA at the moment. Could be it's gone up since last thought, but definitely went down at some point. Hold on. Oh no, it's down. He's down to a 3.45 ERA, way down. So yeah. And somehow Yency Almonte gets the next 2 batters strikeouts to get out of the jam. That to me, in a way, was the nail in the coffin. That is a situation where I don't care how good or how bad or how mad you might be, if you have first and second with 1 out against a guy who has a 4.92 ERA, you gotta get run or runs in that situation. And if you don't, that is what's going to be sealing your fate in a baseball game. I mean, they also had situations against Shota where they could have scored a run and they didn't. But more of when you're facing a guy with a 4.92 ERA with first and second, you got to deliver. And if you don't, you're not going to win the game. And that's what happened. Though also controversy happened, but at the end of the day, they just didn't. That was, in my mind, a key situation where they didn't deliver, and it backfired big time. But we will see what happens. But either way, the Cubs won that game 1-0. Obviously, also the big headline that's happened between episodes of the podcast, Luis Arias has been traded from the Miami Marlins to the San Diego Padres, along with cash, as the Marlins are paying, I think, most of his entire contract. The Marlins getting back prospects, outfielder Dylan Head, outfielder Jacob Marcy, first base and outfielder Nathan Martorella, and reliever who they got in the offseason out of Japan, Woo Suk Go. This is a good trade for San Diego. It's been working out well for them. He just had a walk-off on Friday night. I don't know much about the prospects, so we'll see how they turn out. They haven't had the best of turnouts from prospects in these trades, but we'll see what happens. But trade's definitely been working out so far for San Diego, and we'll see if it stays that way from here on out. Also, there are some city connects that have come out since last episode. Phillies, I'm pretty sure, came out at that point. That was bad. Mets, I feel like, actually did a pretty good job. My one knock on it is I feel like there isn't enough purple representing the 7 line that literally is for Citi Field. And I have gone on 7 line before, but I think there needs to be more of it for them. Also, I don't think NYC really should be set up for either New York team, whether Mets or Yankees. And I know Yankees are probably not going to end up having a City Connect, but just more making a point. I don't think that's right. And even if you want to say a team could get the NYC tag, I would say Yankees more, or NYC, or I don't know. I don't think when I think Mets or Yankees, I don't think NYC, so I just don't think that was right. Rays did a phenomenal job. And the skateboard, which I didn't even know there was a whole thing with skateboarding apparently in Tampa, that was a cool touch. They did a phenomenal job. Tigers were not so great. Guardians I actually liked. And I liked their approach of like Flea on there, not like Guardians or something like that. The hat, I guess, could have been spruced up a little bit differently. I also like the fact that they like had a little retro look to part of the jersey that was like retro to their old looks from like 90s and earlier. I thought they did a pretty good job. I don't think it's best in baseball, but I don't think it was. I think it was pretty solid. There's some that have leaked, but I'm not going to talk about leaks so much at the moment. But we still have Toronto. Dodgers have a single one that got leaked. Apparently, Toronto. I haven't seen the Toronto one. There's still St. Louis and a whole bunch of other teams left for this year. But yeah, that's towards the City Connects. Also, you know what? Since we had just mentioned NFL news, other NFL news I have in my notes for this week: Tyler Boyd is signing with the Tennessee Titans, 1 year, $4.5 million. Safety C.J. Morris re-signs with Detroit for another year, and linebacker Marcus Bailey signed with the Arizona Cardinals for 1 year. Also, the draft happened between now and then, that draft was whack. I'm not going to talk about all of it. I'm going to talk about two things. The fact that the Falcons took a quarterback with their first pick was just like, I'm sorry, what? You just paid Kirk Cousins like 4 years, $125 million or something like that, and now you're telling me you're going to the first round pick with a quarterback? Now, don't get me wrong, Penix Jr. is a pretty good quarterback option, but like you don't need a quarterback. And apparently, Kirk Cousins didn't even know that was happening until when they made the pick. And on top of that, he left Minnesota because he knew that they were about to get a quarterback in the draft, which they got C.J. McCarthy. And the Falcons still made that mistake. That just puzzles me. Like, how? And the Browns, I'm not going to talk about their full draft, but I just have to talk about their first two picks. The rest of the draft, I don't know, like A, B, or C. Like, I thought the rest of the draft was fine. Their first two picks stagger me, pain me, and concern me. Maybe not stagger and pain, but are really concerning. Now, their position-wise with everything, I was fine with. But the players was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Now, at the time, I didn't really watch either of the latter round, so I didn't see it live. And I only saw it afterwards. And I didn't realize, even when I was reading it in the paper the next day, of how bad it was. But once I realized it after, it was just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So, for context, the Browns didn't have a pick till the second round. This is the last year. Next year, they'll have a first round pick, assuming they don't trade it. With their second round pick, they took defensive tackle out of Ohio State, Michael Hall Jr. On paper, seemed like a pretty good pick. I always like Ohio State guys getting drafted to Cleveland. Kind of worked out for them. Their third round pick was guard out of Michigan, Zach Zinter, which they do not have a great history of Michigan players turning out well for the Browns, Jabril Peppers, and Donovan Peoples-Jones, among probably others. But that's not where the concerns stop. So, of course, in the Ohio State-Michigan game last year, which I'm pretty sure I even mentioned this, a Michigan offensive lineman broke his leg. Guess who that offensive lineman was? If your guess is the guy the Browns drafted, you are correct. And it gets worse. Guess who was the guy who possibly through another Michigan or Ohio State player fell and broke Zach Zinter's leg? Michael Hall Jr., who the Browns picked with the second round pick. And I'm just like, really? Like, oh my goodness. Like, that just was like, seriously? Not only are you taking two guys from one of the biggest rivalries in college football back to back, but two are literally involved in a play that literally injured one of them badly. I was just like, oh boy. That F for those picks. I don't care. I'm sorry. Massive failure on those picks. You cannot do that. I'm sorry. That is bad. Terrible. The rest of the picks I'm fine with. That was bad and terrible. Failure. I don't know. Maybe it works out. Maybe they've already put the rivalry beef and the whole injury thing aside, but on paper, that just pisses me off that they did that. It was just, I don't even know how else to put it. But, yeah. Just invigorates me. But that's all I'm going to say on the draft. If you want to see draft results, NFL.com, they'll tell you, like, who got drafted where. Excuse me. But yeah, that was just like, what are you doing, Cleveland? What are you doing? Oh boy. Anyways, let's get into weekly notes. From May 5th, which I started from May 5th for every day. Notes. Pirates beat the Rockies 5-3. Jacob Stallings and Sean Bouchard went back-to-back in the second. 4 of the Pirates' 5 runs in that game were in the 6th. Nationals beat the Blue Jays 11-8 with a 5-run second for the Blue Jays and a 5-run fourth for the Nationals. Obviously, the 5-run fourth being the biggest difference of the game. Guardians beat the Angels 4-1. Jose Ramirez 10-pitch at bat, go-ahead 2-run homer in the 6th. Marks his 5th homer in a 10-plus pitch play appearance. Only one other Cleveland player has even 2 such homers since pitch counts were tracked in 1988, and that's Casey Blake. And only 3 MLB players have more than 4 such in homers in that span, which is Todd Helton with 8, Paul Konerko with 7, and Paul Goldschmidt with 6. Orioles beat the Reds 11-1. Orioles now held opponents to 2 runs or less in 7 straight games, which is longest streak in a single season since doing so in 8 straight in August of 1980. Orioles also now have 8 players with 5-plus homers, which is tied with the 2019 Mariners for second most by a team in MLB history before playing their 35th team game, behind only the 2023 Tampa Bay Rays, who had 9. Dodgers beat the Braves 5-1. Shohei Ohtani went 4-for-4, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 10 total bases, 24 extra base hits, and 24. One is, I don't know. But either way, I don't know. But something at that point is tied for and most with 24th and 25th extra base hits that of the season that he got in that game, are tied and most with 1929 Johnny Frederick for the most in a player 35 games with the Dodgers since at least 1901. His second homer, also going 464, is third longest in Dodger Stadium history since 2015 when StatCast era began. Behind Giancarlo Stanton's one out of Dodger Stadium on May 12th of 2015 that went 475, and Fernando Tatis Jr.'s 467 on September 30th of 2021. Phillies beat the Giants 5-4. Bryce Harper 2-run homer in third marks his 75th homer in Citizens Bank Park, which is 6th most by one player in a ballpark since the start of 2019, behind Pete Alonso's 91 at Citi Field, Shohei's 84 at Angel Stadium, Aaron Judge's 84 at Yankee Stadium, Max Muncy's 79 at Dodger Stadium, and Manny Machado's 78 at Petco Park. Phillies also at that point won 9 straight, which ended up at like 10 or 11 home straight wins, which is their 4th longest home win streak since in the last 40 seasons, behind since 1991 having with 16. July through August of 1991 with 16. July through August of 2010 with 12, and September of 2010 with 10. Also, the 24-11 start for Phillies, best start through 35 games since 1995 for them. Jackson Reed's had a solo home run in the 9th for his first major league homer. That's it for May 5th. For May 6th, the Padres beat the Cubs 6-3. Justin Field back from injury happened on opening day. Got the no decision, going 4 2/3, giving up 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts right after being taken out. Going to the pen, the Padres put up 6 runs in the 6th to lead them to victory. Guardians beat the Tigers 2-1. J. Rams go-ahead solo home run in the 6th marks his 87th career go-ahead home run, which is most in Cleveland history, surpassing Larry Doby. Dodgers beat the Marlins 6-3. Walker Buehler in first start since June 10th of 2022 got the no decision, going 4 innings, giving up 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 0 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Ohtani had a 2-for-3 game, a homer, a walk, 2 RBIs, 1 run, and 2 stolen bases. Dodger Stadium has had 49 440-plus foot homers since StatCast era began, which is third least of any current MLB ballpark in that span. Petco is 48, AT&T/Oracle is 40. Shohei has 3 this season. The most 40-plus feet homers by any player at Dodger Stadium is 4 by Jock Peterson, and most in a season is 3 by Ohtani in 15, with Yasmani Grandal in 16, with 7 by Yasmani Grandal in 16, and 4 by Yasiel Puig in 17. Oh, no, sorry. Ohtani in 15 with 7, Grandal in 16 with 4, and Puig in 17 with 6. Shohei is also 7th player in MLB history with 370 batting average and more than 25 extra base hits in teams' first 37 games of season, since 1961, joining Ryan Zimmerman in 2017, Lance Berkman in 2008, Todd Helton in 2000, Albert Bell in 1994, and Willie Mays in 65 and 66. He's just basically been breaking tons of records. I have a whole bunch, but I'm just going to skip it because I've got a lot more notes to go. May 7th, Shota Imanaga, part of the Cubs' 3-2 win over the Padres, went 7+ innings, no decision, giving up 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. If not for coming back out for the 8th, he would have had a .6 ERA, but instead he came back out, gave up 2 runs, and now had a 1.8 ERA going into tonight. Shota now has the 3rd lowest ERA in first 7 career outings since 1913, behind David Ferris in 1945 at a .57, and 1967 Cisco Carlos 0.89. Also now has 3rd lowest ERA in first 7 starts of season for Cubs since 1912, behind 1918 Phil Douglas 0.79 and 1963 Duck Ellsworth with a 1.08 as reliever. Rangers beat the A's 15-8, 10-run second, first 10-run inning for them since May 23rd, 2015 against the Yankees, and 4-run fourth for Texas led them to victory. Semien had 4 hits in first 4 innings, which marks fourth Texas Ranger to do so since 1974, joining Ian Kinsler on April 15th of 2009 versus the Orioles. Michael Young on April 21st of 2006 versus the Rays. Danny Thompson on June 4th of 1976 versus the Tigers. Orioles also sent 16 batters to the plate in the second. 3 different players recorded 2 hits, Semien, Jonah Heim, and Leody Taveras. Of the 9 hits in the inning, 8 were singles, 1 was double, making just 2nd time in Rangers history since at least 1974 to do so. 1 or less extra base hit since August 19th of 2023 with 6 singles and 1 double. Tigers beat the Guardians 11-7. Out Randy Ibanez had a 2-homer game. It also was 962 days since his debut. Ryan Velotti, game-tying 2-run single, is his first major league hit and RBI. Andy Ibanez leadoff home run marks back-to-back games with leadoff home runs for the Tigers. Riley Green had in the previous game for the first time since June 3rd to 4th in 2002, and his first time in Tigers history, a leadoff homer 3 times in 4-game span. Diamondbacks beat the Reds 6-2. Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte went back-to-back in the 7th. Angels beat the Pirates 9-0. Kevin Pillar had a 2-homer game, which is his 7th multi-homer game and first since August 21st of 2021 for the Mets against Nats. Phillies beat the Blue Jays 10-1. 5-run fourth leads to 11th straight win at home, 3rd longest home win streak in the last 40 seasons. And I already mentioned the whole list earlier. Harper's 4th inning grand slam home run marks 3rd home run, 3 home runs and 10 RBIs in 3 games since Sunday. He's the first Philly player with 3+ homers and 10+ RBI in a 3-game span since himself in 2019, August 14th to the 16th, with 4 homers and 10 RBIs. Streak ended the next day. Nationals beat the Orioles 3-0. First time Washington's over 500 win percentage since 2021, and first shutout versus the Orioles since June 21st of 2022. They are no longer above 500 or at 500 for context. Yankees beat the Astros 10-3. Stanton solo homer in the 5th was a 15-degree long jingle, which is 6th homer with 15 or lower launching in StatCast era since 2015. No one else has more than 2 such over-the-wall homers. He also has the record for lowest of those with 13 on April 23rd of 2015. Homer also at 121.7 is 12th hardest hit since 2015. He also did another one the next day, and it's just a whole long list. The 118.8 is his 6th hardest home run since 2015. I'm like just kind of skimming over some of these notes because it's just like way too long. Braves beat the Red Sox 4-2. Jared Kelenich's 2-run homer in the third was his first with the Braves. Brewers beat the Royals 6-5. Rhys Hoskins and Joey Ortiz went back-to-back in the second. Mets beat the Cardinals 7-5. 6-run fifth for the Mets. Giants beat the Rockies 5-0. Kyle Harrison became the 6th Giants pitcher to throw 7+ scoreless innings at Coors Field, joining Barry Zito on April 9th of 2012, who had a complete game shutout. Tim Lincecum on June 11th of 2008. Matt Cain on April 17th of 2007. Jason Schmidt on July 17th of 2004 with 8 innings, and Russ Ortiz on August 28th of 2002 with 8 innings. Dodgers beat the Marlins 8-2. Yamamoto was on the mound and had a 15 scoreless innings pitched on the line. This controversy. I'm going to show this actually. They basically had 15 scoreless innings pitched on the mound going in, and an MLB Network analyst decided to be bold. Like real bold. And I'll just show you. I'll show you on YouTube. This is just... I saved this intentionally so I could show this.
Don't take this the wrong way, but we are already a no-hitter alert. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, before he throws a single pitch tonight against the Marlins, we have a no-hitter alert.
Okay.
Enjoy what could be a no-hitter from Yamamoto.
You know Jazz swing your first pitch.
Right here on MLB Network for Harold, CY, I'm Greg. We have a no-hitter alert.
So again, before first pitch was even thrown, Greg Amsinger, is an analyst for MLB Network, decides to just throw it out there. Oh, we're going to have a no-hitter tonight by Yamamoto. Before first pitch was even thrown.
Enjoy this game live on MLB Network.
What happens on the very first pitch?
In the major leagues to establish himself as that guy. Dodgers looking for a 6th straight win and a 13th out of their last 15 after they took the first game.
Okay, before we even get into this, I'll just let you know the Dodgers won this game 8-2. And I have other notes on this game, but yeah.
6-3 last night. Yamamoto comes home, and off we go. And the aggressive Marlins get a first pitch swing and a high fly ball and a home run.
Yes, you just saw that correctly and heard that correctly. First pitch homer. When the analyst was like, oh, he's going to throw a no-hitter. What happens? First pitch, goodbye. He's probably regretting saying that now. And I haven't even found his reaction to what ended up happening anywhere. I'd love to hear what his thoughts are after trying to say that. Now, could it be the network trying to kind of force him to like make a bold prediction like that? Maybe. I mean, there's always been TV things will be like intentionally scripted, but I don't know. Gavin Lux 2-run homer in this third is his first homer since August 15th of 2022 with game done in 2 hours and 11 minutes. This marks 4 games straight, which ended up being 6 for Dodgers, ending with game ending under 225. They had 224, 207, 219, and 211. They also had the next 2 are also under. I'll just even add it from because I have it here. I just gotta find it. Hold on. Because I kept on noting it. They kept on making history until Sunday. Sunday ended up being 212. Friday ended up being 212. Saturday ended up being... I guess it ended Friday. I don't know. But yeah, they ended up having a couple of games as part of that stretch. Additionally, outside of the notes. I'm trying to re-find it. Here we go. Which is the first time Dodgers have done so since September 7th to 11th of 1984 with 4. Last time with longer streak is 2 separate 5-game streaks in 1980. Max Muncy's first name go-ahead Grand Slam homer is his 6th career Grand Slam, which is tied for 6th most in Dodgers history behind Gil Hodges with 14, Carl Furillo with 8, Mike Piazza with 8, Cody Bellinger with 7, and Matt Kemp with 7. That is it for May 7th. May 8th. White Sox traded Robbie Grossman to the Rangers for pitching prospect Anthony Tuioneltoa. Did I pronounce it correctly? Robbie Grossman was with Texas last year, pretty decent. We'll see if he turns around his season. Guardians beat the Tigers 5-4 in 10 innings. Kyle Manzaro pinch hit single in the 7th is his first major league hit as he got called up because Kwan got hurt. Dodgers beat the Marlins 3-1. 155 also in the series finale against the Marlins. Now Orioles beat the Nationals 7-6 in 12 innings with the win. Orioles now ended up being 104 now at this point. 104 series of 2+ games not being swept, and also with the decision still in the regular season, which is third most behind 1942-44 Cardinals at 125, 1903-05 Giants. By decisions, it's fourth most, also behind 1906-09 Cubs at 115. But either way, and it's now 104 with the weekend series. Yankees beat the Astros 9-4. Yankees are now 34-4, including playoffs, when Stanton solo homer in the third and Judge homer in the same game. The times they lost was the Field of Dreams game in 2021. On October 4th, 2022, game 2 of a doubleheader, when Judge hits home run number 62. April 14th of 2023 and August 24th of 2023. Stanton had another home run that was historically distant. His homer was also another historic distance in this game. He's also second player with multiple 118+ mile per hour home runs in a calendar month, with joining his teammate currently, but before teammates, Aaron Judge, on June 10th to 11th of 2017, who was the last player to do so. Alonso's game-tying solo home run in first was 113.4, which is tied for his third hardest hit home run of his career, behind 114.1 on May 26th of 2023 and August 26th of 2021. This was also the first time Judge, Stanton, and Soto all homered in a game to get in the same game as being teammates. Braves beat the Red Sox 5-0. Marcell Ozuna had a 2-homer game. Ozuna's first and Arcia went back-to-back. Ozuna is also the second Braves player to have 12+ homers and 38+ RBI through first 34 games, joining Hank Aaron. Twins beat the Mariners 6-3. Carlos Correa and Trevor Larnach went back-to-back in first. A's beat the Rangers 9-4 in game 1 of 2. Marcus Semien had a solo home run in the third, which was 1 for 12.1 miles per hour, which is his hardest hit ball since 2015. His only other was 110. Only one other 110 plus is 110.1 on single on June 17th of 2022. The Rangers took game 2, 12-11. Shea Langeliers between the two games had 8 RBIs in the doubleheader, which is the Oakland record since 1968, passing Reggie Jackson with 7 on August 24th of 1969 versus the Orioles. And then on May 9th, Rockies beat the Giants 9-1. 7-run fourth led the Rockies to the win with a 2-run and RBI double and single in the 6th and 8th. 2-run. Charlie Blackmon passes Nolan Arenado for 4th most RBI in Rockies history at 762. Astros beat the Yankees 4-3, with Yordan Alvarez hitting 116.8 mile per hour solo home run in the first, and Aaron Judge 115.7 solo in the 8th, and John Singleton 115.4 3-run homer in the first. Marks first time there are 3 115+ mile per hour homers in games since 2015. With 2 walks, 1 Soto ties making Mantle for most walks before 26 years old since 1901 with 668. Astros became the second team and 4th-time team with 415 mile per hour batted balls in an inning since 2015, joining Yankees in 2021 and 2018 and twice in 2018. The two Astros homers also makes the Astros first team with 215 plus mile per hour homers in the same inning since 2015. White Sox beat the Guardians 3-2. J-Ram and Josh Naylor back to back in the eighth. J-Ram also his homer was 1.4 feet above the ground, which is second lowest pitch he's hit a homer off of in his career, ahead of 0.78 feet on August 12th of 2022. The Royals beat the Angels 10-4. Dyron Blanco's first of two players in the last 50 seasons to homer, her bunt, hit, double, and two stolen bases in one game since joining Larry Walker on August 25th, 1996. And then May 10th, Cubs beat the Pirates 7-2. Cody Bellinger's solo home run was 100.5 mile per hour pitch, which is fastest pitch Cubs players homered off of since 2008. Braves beat the Mets 4-2. Acuna, Albies, and Olsen went back to back in the third. Acuna's, I'll just skip that part. Phillies beat the Marlins 8-2. Rangers Suarez now has a 1.50 ERA after another dominant start, which is fourth lowest ERA in first 8 starts of the season for Phillies since 1912, behind Grover Alexander 2 times 1915 at 1.14 and 1916 with a 1.30, and Philadelphia and A's and Brennan in 1913 with a 1.46. And then White Sox beat the Guardians 6-3. Corey Lee and Paul DeYoung went back-to-back in this game with 11 strikeouts, which is career high for Crochet. He now has 64 strikeouts over first 9 starts, which broke Chris Sale's record of 60 in 2012. Brewers beat the Cardinals 11-2. Robert Gasser's major league debut went 6 innings, giving up 2 hits, getting the win, giving up 0 earned runs, 0 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He became 5th Brewers pitcher to go 6 innings in major league debut without yielding a run, first since Brandon Woodruff in 2017, and only 10 have done so since 2020, with last being Shota Imanaga, and that's for in baseball. Padres beat the Dodgers 2-1. Glasnow and Michael King both were dominant. Glasnow 7 innings, giving up 1 hit, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. King 7 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. Both got no decision. King's 8 strikeouts is tied for most through 3 innings of the game in Padres history, with May 18th of 2021 Blake Snell and September 22nd of 2015 Tylerson Ross and April 25th 2003 Jake Peavy. Glasnow and King are third pair of starting pitchers to each have 10 plus Ks and allow 2 hits or less in the same game since 1901, joining May 30th of 2021, Brandon Woodruff 7 innings and Matt Scherzer 6 innings, and April 3rd of 2021, Corbin Bird 6 in the third, and Jose Barrios 6 innings, and they're only duo to both go 7 innings. Reds beat the Giants 4-2 with 2 stolen bases. Ellie De La Cruz has 25 stolen bases. Only other player with 25 plus stolen bases in their team's first 38 games since 1901. Kenny Lofton in 1996. Vince Coleman in 1991, 1987, 1985. Ricky Henderson in 1988, 1982. Gerald Young in 1988. Alan Wiggins in 1984. Tim Raines in 1981. Lou Brock in 1974, and Clyde Milan in 1913. The number is also most by Reds player first 38 games, passing Deion Sanders. Ali also now has 3 straight multiple stolen base games. Only player to have 4 since 1901 is 2014 Jose Altuve, 1917 Ray Chapman, and 1904 Bill Dalen. Stuart Fairchild's solo home pinch hits inside the park home run is in the 8th is the first Reds player to have to do so since Champ Summers in 1977 on June 12th against the Montreal Expos. May 11th, the Pirates beat the Cubs 10-9. Paul Skeens' his major league debut, going 4 innings, giving up 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. His first major league hitter being 100.9 mile per hour pitch strikeout and 102 mile per hour strikeout. Ties and passes Garrett Cole in 2013 in the NLDS Game 5 for fastest K by Pirates starting pitcher since 2008, including postseason. Cubs had 6 bases loaded walks in the 5th inning, leading to 7 runs. His second is 2 more than any other team has drawn in an inning since the White Sox had 8 in the 7th on April 22nd of 1955. Pirates is 3rd team since 1957 at least to issue 6+ bases loaded walks in a game, along with the White Sox on April 7th of 1992, and Philadelphia Athletics on April 22nd of 1959. Two of those teams won the game. The Pirates this year and 92 White Sox. Connor Joe and O'Neill Cruz went back-to-back in the third. Blue Jays won against the Twins 10-8, coming back from down 8-3 from fifth on to win the game. Orioles beat the Diamondbacks 5-4-11. Orioles have now matched its best 38-game start in franchise history with 1969 Orioles, who also started 26-12, and 1970 Team 69 team won the pennant but lost the Mets in the World Series. 71 the World Series team. Red Sox beat the Nationals 4-2. Tyler O'Neill intentional walk before Rafael Devers 2-run doubles. The first time a Red Sox player got intentionally walked in front of Devers since JD Martinez on September 6th of 2021. Braves beat the Mets 4-1. Max Fried is first Braves pitcher with 2 6+ inning no-hit bids in a 3-start span within a single season since Kevin Millwood in 1996, June 6th and June 17th, and last MLB starting pitcher to do so was Blake Snell on August 31st and September 7th of 2021. Also, Braves, crazily enough, haven't had a no-hitter since Kent Burker in 1994. Tigers beat the Astros 8-2. Kerry Carpenter had a 2-homer game. Trey Skubal is the first Tigers pitcher to go 5-0 to open the season since Jordan Zimmerman in 2016. He's also unbeaten in the last 13 starts, going back to August 29th of 2023, which is the longest such stretch in Tigers starter since Max Scherzer from September to October of 2012. Oh. So since Max Scherzer is 19 from October of 2012 to July of 2013. Giants beat the Reds 5-1. Matt Chapman Grand Slam homer, which was the difference in the game, is his second of his career since he did it with Toronto on August 9th of 2023. Dodgers beat the Padres 5-0. Freddie Freeman solo homer in the first off knuckleballer. Matt Waldron is his fourth career homer off a knuckleball, which is tied for most since 2008 with Nelson Cruz, Ryan Zimmerman, and Adam Dunn. Dodgers have allowed 4 runs or less in 17 straight games, tied with August 23rd till September 9th of 1977 for longest in franchise history. And last team with such streak this long, which ended up also going into the next game, is 2017 Guardians with 25, started with the final 21 games of their 22 game win streak, where they went 24-1. And then yesterday, the Cubs beat the Pirates 5-4 in 10 innings. O'Neill Cruz's solo home run in the fourth was 112.7 mile per hour at 47-degree launch angle, which is hardest hit homer with a launch angle higher than 45 degrees and is tied for highest launch angle by a Pirate player on a homer since 2015 with Rodolfo Castro on September 26th of 2022. Red Sox beat the Nationals 3-2. First game to have first out of the game caught stealing for C.J. Abrams. And the final out, both the caught stealing. As the second guy was Jared Young since 1961. Twins beat the Blue Jays 5-1. Carlos Santana 3-run homer in the 7th for the Twins. Now has a homer at Twins have now homered and marks Twins having now 20 straight games homering at Rogers Center. Going back to 2017, Twins are now 17-3 in the last 20 games, which is best such stretch since 2008 and 8th time in franchise history, along with 2008, 2006, 2003, 2002, 91, and 1969. Which even goes back to days before they were the Minnesota Twins, back when they were Washington Senators. Astros beat the Tigers 9-3, at 41 years old and 82 days. Justin Verlander is the oldest pitcher with a scoreless outing of 7+ innings, allowing 2 or fewer hits since Jamie Moyer's 2-hit complete game shutout on May 7th of 2010 at 47 years and 170 days old. Marlins beat the Phillies 7-6 in 10 innings. Emmanuel Rivera walk-off RBI singles, first Marlins pinch hit walk-off since Brian Holiday on August 11th of 2018. The Yankees beat the Rays 10-6. Jose Trevino had a 2-homer game. Jemai Jones also has first major league home run in this game after many stints with many teams. The Giants beat the Reds 6-5 in 10 innings. Lamont Wade Jr.'s two-run homer in the fifth was 50-degree launching, which was tied for highest launch angle on an over-the-wall homer since 2015 with Xander Bogaerts on August 13th, 2021 for the Red Sox, and Gene Martinez on May 15th, 2015 for the Tigers. Royals beat the Angels 4-2. Seth Lugo going 8 innings, giving up 5 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 12 strikeouts. He is the fourth pitcher in Royals history with 12 plus strikeouts without a walk, tied with Mike Montgomery on August 10th of 2019 and Zach Greinke on June 13th of 2010, and behind Luke Hochevar with 13 on July 29th, 2009. Padres beat the Dodgers 4-0. Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jake Cronenworth went back-to-back in the first. And that's it for notes. Wow, that was a lot. I got to figure out a way to minimize that for next week. Now for standings update. In the AL East, Orioles in first place 26-13, followed by the 27-15 Yankees, followed by the 21-19 Red Sox, followed by the 20-21 Rays, followed by the 18-22 Blue Jays. In the AL Central, the Guardians in first place 25-16, followed by the 24-16 Twins, followed by the 25-17 Royals, followed by the 20-20 Tigers, followed by the 12-29 White Sox. In the AL West, the Mariners in first place 22-19, followed by the 22-20 Rangers, followed by the 19-23 A's, followed by the 15-25 Astros, followed by the 15-26 Angels. That's it for the AL. For the NL, starting with the NL East, Braves in first place, Phillies in first place, at 20-13, followed by the Braves at 24-13, followed by the 19-20 Mets and Nationals, followed by the Marlins at 11-31. In the NL Central, Brewers in first place, 24-16, followed by the 24-17 Cubs, followed by the 18-23 Pirates, followed by the 17-23 Reds, followed by 16-24 Cardinals. And then the NL West, the Dodgers in first place, 27-15, followed by the Padres at 22-21, followed by the Diamondbacks at 19-22, followed by the Giants at 19-23, followed by the Rockies at 12-28. And then as for today, we're starting this series for the next couple of days. The Orioles and Blue Jays kick off from Baltimore at 6:35 tonight. Jose Barrios against Corbin Burns. Marlins at Tigers at 6:46 against Matt Manning. Rays at Red Sox at 7:10. Zach Eflin against Carl Crawford. Phillies at Mets at 7:10. Christopher Sanchez versus Sean Manaea. Cubs at Braves at 7:20. Shohei Managa versus Reynaldo Lopez. Nationals at White Sox at 7:40. Trevor Williams against Chris Flexen. Pirates at Brewers at 7:40. Mitch Keller against Colin Ray. Guardians at Rangers at 8:05. Tanner Bibby versus Michael Lorenzen. Athletics at Astros at 8:10. Ross Stripling versus Spencer Arguetti. Cardinals and Angels at 9:38. Matthew Liberatore versus Jose Soriano. Reds at Diamondbacks 9:40. Graham Ashcraft against Jordan Montgomery. Rockies at Padres 9:40. Dakota Hudson versus Randy Vasquez. Royals and Mariners 9:40. Brasinger versus George Kirby. Dodgers at Giants at 9:45. Gavin Stone versus Jordan Hicks. And that is it for this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're new on YouTube, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, leave notification bell to notify when I go live and I post a new video. If you're new on audio, follow the podcast. Leave a review, hit the notification bell to notify when I post on there. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I will see you in next week's episode 124. Bye-bye.